Nkositalkshows Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. With me today, Carol Ann. How are you, Carol Ann?
I'm good, thanks. And you? How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
So our topic today is overcome your fear of rejection, practical tips and strategy. Carol Ann, you chose this topic. I'm actually curious why you chose the topic.
Yeah, because what I've realized is that I'm writing this essay and I'm needing to, it's the deadline is this Sunday, and I wanted to get it done before now, finished, so that I could send it to my daughter to check it through, because she's an editor. That's been her career since she left school, and she's really good at it. And she offered to have, check it through for me, and I thought, oh, I'd love to do that. And maybe I'm sort of aware of, maybe there's a fear in me of her going, oh, Mum, it's not very good, And so I'm sort of holding out, and so it'll get to Sunday and it'll be too late. So am I playing a game here of this fear, rejection? So that's really sort of what came up when I saw that, this topic around fear of rejection. But of course, fear of rejection plays out in many different ways. So this was just one that popped up to me, and that maybe this is something that is what is creating this. Keep finding out, I'm not writing enough, or I'm not doing enough, or not being able to get excuse me, into it, putting it off. Am I playing a game here? So that's where it came from. So yeah, what did you think when you saw it?
Okay, have you actually sent it through?
I haven't finished it yet. It's still bits to do, and I'm going, oh, let's see if I can get this done this afternoon. I've got this afternoon, this evening. Let's see if I can, it just needs some retyping what I've written, because I spent time yesterday and went through, made some notes, shifted things around again, got clear on the thread, because there's so many ideas that I could put in there that I kept finding myself going, oh, I could go off in here, and oh, I could go off here. And there's just so much I could say and want to say, but actually it's keeping it simple. I keep coming back to keep it simple. What exactly is my talk about? What do I actually need to talk about, and how much do I need to say? Because all I'm doing is just something that's supporting my talk. So it really only needs to be a short bit, just a brief explanation, and then the discussion of what it is, how I came about doing this topic, and looking into, what I'm doing, which is around unlocking the writer within, and actually looking back at the basics of writing, but using kinesiology and brain gym to help support in the transformation of freeing up that flow of writing, So, as I say, there's so much I could put in, and then I'm going, right, they are topics for the future. That's the ripples of inquiry that I am sending out. People go down, and I can go down and start talking about, springboard out from this. So that's what keeps holding it up. But I think I've got there now, and I just now need to tweak the typewritten piece and get it sent over. So hopefully I will get that sent over. I can get that sent tonight. She'll be in tomorrow by the time I send it tonight, because she's in Australia. And hopefully she'll have time, bless her, because she's so busy. But it's only, at the moment, it's 5 pages, A4. They say between 4 to 8 pages. I don't really want to do many more than 4 or 5, because I think it'd be too much. I want to keep it short, succinct, to the point, So that's where I'm at with it. Yeah. As I say, it's testing all my issues around writing, my struggles with writing. And I just keep using the tools, and even the other day, not yesterday, the day before, I found myself getting really frustrated and angry with myself because I realized there was this conflict that was going, just do it, just get on and do it. And this other part of me that's going, no, I need to do, I'm not quite clear on something. I need to do another process. So this other part of me going, oh, not another process, for heaven's sake, no. You know, so it's these conflicts going on. And really what I'm about is the more I do these processes, the easier it actually does become. The less time I do spend on it, because all of a sudden it just falls into place.
Yeah.
So really, this is what I'm about, and what I teach is actually, well, whatever's showing up, you don't need to push through it. You don't need to struggle with it. Just do a process around it. Free it up, free whatever's going on in the body, your brain-body connection. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, boom, it's done. It's absolutely amazing. I love it. So I've, faced that inner challenge. And I did do another process and started to free some more things up. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got it all under control. You've got it all under control, and you just need some last touch. And but you, as a writer, I'm sure there's you have expectations that the documents need to look like. So I'm sure it is good, and your daughter, she is gonna love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this fear of rejection is what we need to do is actually realize people aren't rejecting you, and it's being able to take criticism, be it constructive criticism, and know that you can move forward from that. You can grow from it. Because if I don't put it out there, how am I going to grow?
No.
She's amazing. You know, her job, she always has been. She even got headhunted once into another job because she is, that good. So I can learn from her. I can learn by what she says, and it's like, okay. So I think I'm just starting to reframe it a bit more now. And this is something we can do if you've got this fear of rejection, is actually, well, what is this fear about? Face it in some way and think, well, reframe it and realize that it's there. Whatever's going to happen can happen, and you can face it and grow from it, and I think that's the main thing, is that, what is actually being rejected here. What's being rejected is perhaps bits of my writing, the way it's written, and suggestions of a better way that it could be written, or even more succinct way. Maybe a slight tweak of vocabulary that just enhances it in some way that I didn't know about, And this is the thing, I don't know if you've heard of the 4 levels of competency. That first level is it's unconscious incompetence. You've got no idea that you can't do something. And so this is it. This is probably things I got no awareness of. By sending it to her, I can then have an awareness of something that I'm incompetent about, that I can then learn and do something about. So it then becomes a conscious incompetence. Once you then address that and you become competent in it, that becomes a conscious competence. And then the more you practice that, it just becomes natural, and then it slips into your unconscious and you just do it naturally. That's what we call an unconscious competence. So that's the 4 levels of competency. So, there's something here for me to learn and to wake up to. So maybe people who, if you're fearing rejection, maybe there's something you've got no idea about that you could sort of wake up to, be willing to wake up to, that you could do something about. I don't know, what do you think, Domsa? You're muted.
When it comes to rejection, for me, what I've realized is like your daughter, she's going to evaluate the document and she's going to give you feedback.
Mm.
To me, I wouldn't see it as a rejection, as feedback. She's just going to say, Mommy, I've changed this, and then she's going to give you some tips because that's what a professional does. So they give you some tips, but I think we get scared that we are not good enough because those people, they are better than us. But the truth is, you shouldn't be afraid because this girl, she's professional. That's what she does for work. And whatever, yeah, when she comes back to you, she'll give you some tips, which is really, really good. But then we sometimes we go through rejection can be really something that hold us back because we live in this world where people are very, very judgmental. I've gone to places where I have realized that sometimes the people, they are just, I don't know how to describe it. Sometimes the people, they think they are better than you. And I go to places, but even I go to church, you'll be surprised the rejection is in church, is everywhere. So the thing is, you have to value yourself. You have to value and believe it because no one is perfect when it comes to things. We can't do things that would be perfect. So you'll be surprised where you go to places. I've been to church where people have just said things and I'm like, really? I'm like looking at myself, I'm like, really? And I'm just laughing. I'm like, this is awful. These people should know. I'm like, God, do they actually know what God is? God accept anybody. So I'm like, seriously? And then you go to other places where it's like I have my business, but when I appear in places, I don't come across as like I have a business, I have this. I'm very laid back and I'm very, very quiet. I am sussing the situation. And you find the people judge you as soon as you enter the room because they think, oh, this one, it doesn't know anything. And then later on, they're like, by the way, what do you do for work? And like, yeah. And I'm like, but you've never said anything. I'm like, do I actually need to tell you because it's you that needs to ask? You judged me, completely rejected me and believed that I didn't have the knowledge. You have the knowledge. You believed that I didn't have the knowledge, but I do have the knowledge, but it's not my place where I go with my ego and start saying, who do you think you are speaking to me like that? Just go quiet and see people are crazy. So people are going to reject you anyway, but there's a difference between when somebody is rejecting you and when people are actually giving you feedback. It's like we have to overcome, we have to learn to overcome these things in order, our fears, in order to grow, in order to actually live a fulfilling life. And like right now, Carol Anna, you've done the assignment. And for me, if I'm looking for somebody to check my words, I come to you. I know you're good with words, but because you know that actually I'm not in that level as my daughter. My daughter, she's in a different level than me. So I still admire you. I still think you're good. But I think you just have to get on with it and send that assignment.
Yeah.
You just have to get on with it and send the assignment, honestly, because your daughter, she's in a different level, a level of profession, a level where that's what she does for work. She will study everything in order to be, she studied everything in order to be where she is, which you know that actually I can't compare myself with my daughter, but I'm not going to fear. I just need to send this assignment and get a feedback and get over and done with. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're good with words. Yeah, just get over and done with. Stop fearing. And I think also you are a professional as well, writing facilitator. you work with words. So there is a place where you want your words to be. And when you send them over, you are like, is she going to agree with this? Just get on with the assignment, Kero. Just finish off and do some attachment and finish off and send it off.
Yeah, just get it done. So today, by tonight, I'll get it sent.
Yeah,
yeah.
just send it off.
And if I feel I need to, I will do a process.
Yeah.
I will stop putting that off and thinking, oh God, not another one. You know, that sort of, because that isn't how things are normally done. It's just case push through. That's not what I'm about. I just quickly do another process, do something, and then it's funny how I do these processes. And there was one I did the other day where I play with some shapes to put them into I'm given a picture to form with these shapes, and I just couldn't do it. And I love playing around with the metaphors, and this activity equated to me being able to piece together my bits of my essay into the shape that I wanted. I then did I got this something that clears the frog in the throat as well. Let me have a drink of water. I got an energy card that just by looking at that helps to shift your brain thoughts and patterns. And then once I'd looked at that, I went back and all of a sudden put the pieces in place. Boom, 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 boom. Got the shape, went back to my writing, and then it was like, oh yeah, that goes there, that goes there. Oh no, don't want that, don't want that. Boom, boom, boom. And that section was then done. You know, so I know that this works and how it works. So it's that inner part of me that's, I think I just need to let go of the old ways and I think it's the fear of not getting it done in time, you know, but this way of doing it is actually gets things done much more quickly. Spending that bit of time to process and reframing it in a different way, what's going on that holds you back, all of a sudden it's sorted and it's so much quicker. So yeah, I will commit to doing that and getting that to her tonight. So
sounds like a plan.
It does, doesn't it? Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's out there now, and this is about me having integrity and being my word and making sure I do that. So I'll message you. It might be gone midnight, but I'll message you and let you know when I've sent it. Okay. You're muted again.
Be available midnight. I think I'll be coming home. I'll be coming from London. My daughter, she's performing tonight, so I have to.
Oh, bless her.
I have to go to London. So midnight, I think we'll be on our way back.
Okay. It's fine. It's just sending the message out there, making that commitment.
Yeah, let me know once you've sent it to that. Oh, I'm free.
Yes, it's like, okay, I can then spend tomorrow going, all right, I'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, she'll give you a good feedback, and there's no bad feedback because you have to understand me. When I send something, normally I just send it without any expectation, and sometimes people will surprise me and say, actually, it's perfect. I'm like, you what now?
Yeah.
But when you're writing it or when you're doing something, you're like, is this person gonna like it? And then you just, like you said, I've stopped doing all that, Kero, and the fear, the what. I just do things, and I actually send it back. I think there was once when I was doing my assignment, and before you submit, you had to get to your tutor, and then they comment or they give you some tips. I think he gave me 2 or 3 times. He kept saying, I need you to improve in this, and and then I kept sending it back, because at the end of the day, I don't know his expectations. So I just write and do my best. So it's the same way with your daughter, like you just do your best and just send it there. And also to our audience that are watching, overcoming fear of rejection is actually, sometimes there might be underlining you. I know you know actually fearing the rejection is because you are part of those people, part of those people that are in the panel with her, but she's the more qualified one. And then now you're like, and also because with words, you love words, Kero, and every time I write something, if you need things to be changed, you're like, no, sir, would you mind to change this to that? I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I think because you are an expert when it comes to words, so that's where the problem is. But other than that, you'll be okay. So some people, they actually fear the failure. Some people, they fear the rejection, the judgment. Some people, because some people there is because some people have been judged. I know there are some audience that are watching who fear rejection based on their experiences, childhood traumas, or societal expectations, and sometimes in order for you to conquer those things, you have to. For me, basically, how I'm coping with this thing of rejection and people going around and rejecting or just judgmental, being judgmental, I just came to understand that people are people. That's how I'm dealing with it. People are people, and also meditating and living in the present moment. Like if I was to, let's say, like I posted that banner on Facebook, and I didn't see the little mistake, but Angie saw it, and then she corrected it and sent it to me and said, "No, sir, the guy is meant to." But I realized when he was copying and pasting it, putting it in the banner, I think that's where the mistake was. But Angie said to me, "Can you fix this part? It doesn't make sense." So when she sent me, actually, she wasn't criticizing, she wasn't judging me. She took time and wrote the correction and sent it to me. So I just copied it and and put it, and I asked the guy to actually put it on the poster again. So which we corrected that. But now, because I'm aware when he edited the video came back the same as well. There was some things that I posted it on Instagram, but when I was posting on Instagram, then I realized there was a mistake. So I sent it over and asked him to actually change it. So those are the mistakes. They are like your daughter, when she gives you feedback, she should be giving you feedback not based on rejection, it's just your head making things up.
That's right. And that's
Then,
the same with anything, that we're looking at. There's that fear of rejection, which could be, if you're looking to go for a job, you've got an interview and something like that. There's that fear of rejection when it is in your head.
And it does happen in real life.
That's right. Or even, you're going on looking to go socializing, you're looking for a new relationship, that first date again, or something like that. It's all in your head, and it's all those beliefs. So one of the things that you can do, one of the sort of strategies, is actually, what are those limiting beliefs that are there? Break them down, look at them, and discover, well, what's going on in my head? What is going on in the background? Because that's one of the things that is what the fear is about. And then just say, well, is it actually true? What's it based on? Where do these beliefs come from? And realize that you're putting them into the future. And the fact is, the future hasn't even happened. And you're doing this to the future. You're pushing it away. And then there's a great quote. There's something I read about, I can't remember where it is now, but actually, does it then, you've got so much fear about that rejection, and you keep pushing it back and pushing it away, that all of a sudden it then becomes a regret, because it can't even happen. You've gone to such a point that it can't happen, and you've got that regret inside. Then how do you deal with that? It's so which would you prefer? Face it. Sort those limiting beliefs out. What's behind the fear? And then face it. Step into it. Refuse to let the fear of rejection hold you back. Remember, rejection is never personal, which is what we're saying, Brian Tracy is saying. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not personal.
There's one thing that Terry Pratchett says, the worst thing you can do is nothing.
Yep.
Then there is no feedback. You got no chance to even see, shift that fear. It's going to hold you in that place of doing nothing. And then you get into that place of regret. So you were going to move on. You're saying something.
Yeah, what I was saying is rejection. When you are being rejected by somebody, it doesn't mean that. Sometimes people have their own expectations as well. There are some people who reject you because they like to reject. My ex, last month, I think he wanted to do something and he was fearing, and he kept calling me and I was like, why have you made a decision before you even have whatever you're supposed to be having? Can you just go and be yourself and just do things and get on with it? And he was like, oh, okay then. So then he rings again. I'm like, okay now. So I'm like, you'll be okay. So then he went and he was like, oh, the guy was really nice. He's asking the right questions and there was nothing big. Like he was making up things in his head. So we do make things up. For me, it's like when I did go for a job interview before I started my business, I go for job interviews. I do the questions and just read about the company. And when you get there, if you know what you're talking about, people just ask you really nice, simple questions. If that person that day wants to take you, they will take you. But if they choose, they don't want to take you, it means there is nothing wrong with what you've done. It's just that person didn't see good in you. That's how I see it. But at the same time, even God himself, he was rejected. So I'm not a God, so that's how I comfort myself. I'm like, Jesus was rejected, so I'm bound to be rejected by people. So I know that whatever we do in life, it's like here at Nkositalkshows, there are some people who like Nkositalkshows, like on LinkedIn. I get motivated by actually LinkedIn business people are like, say you're consistent and they will appreciate you, we love you, keep going. When somebody sends you a message like that, they give you that push. But there are some people on Facebook, like when I was looking for speakers before, and some people be like, which talk show, like Nkositalkshows, or it was Legacy Wealth before talk, and they're like, no, I don't think so. It's not our cup of tea. Some people, they say, I do paid speaking gigs. But some people, you find that they were hired once by somebody they know for £250, and then they class themselves as speakers. And then that's why they talk people down. But then if you find a good professional speaker, they'll be like, no, sir, I'm really, really busy at the moment, but I don't do those talks anymore. I do talk for money, big money. Like, can you pay me £16,000 to speak? I'm like, no, thank you. I can't do that. Yeah, which is good if somebody knows what they really want, because those people, they work hard to develop their skills, so they're in the next level. But with reality TV, one thing that I've learned with them, they were reality 7. They were like, we don't refuse interview, or even if somebody is small, we always go to those interviews, because that's where we go unknowingly, and then we end up finding really big opportunities through people see that we are humbled, and they're like, I've watched you in this place, so would you like to collaborate with me? So rejection, it can be really tough, and mostly in relationships, it can be really hard to take. Some people, they've been knocked down, and they finding hard to actually get back up. What advice can you give Carol Ann, somebody who has been really knocked down by rejection so many times?
I think recognize where you're at. And maybe I've got this picture. Maybe just sit on the floor and just feel I've just been knocked down. Feel that rejection. You know, so many times you've been knocked back. Just sit on the floor and just feel it. Feel that what's there. And then just know, well, okay, this is where I'm at. All that's happened is that it's another no. And just think, well, actually, the more no's I get, the closer I am to a yes. And I know what it's like to feel constant rejection. I remember, it's just coming to my head, all those years ago when I first left college, teacher training college, and I got married, and I was putting out applications for teaching posts. And every morning I'd get up and I'd look down the stairs and I'd see another slip. I know it was a rejection slip. No, thank you. And I could feel my energy just going, oh. And it really does knock you for six. But it's finding that resolve inside of you that says, well, what actually is it you want? And just to keep going, because you just never know. One day there might be a yes. And it's staying open to what, other fields or other directions you can go in. And I trained as an infant teacher when I first trained, because I didn't think I wasn't confident enough to teach the older students, But life had a way of turning around. And I eventually did end up going for secondary school and getting a post there and teaching and absolutely loving it and really being good at it. But it took a few years to get there. But I do remember that constant rejection. Even now, see myself at the top of the stairs looking down for the post and saying, oh, not another no, or no, there's nothing there. So feel that it's a heavy place to be. It's an uncomfortable place to be. Acknowledge it. And then maybe you can do some tapping. We've talked about tapping before, emotional freedom technique. Just going, okay, so I've got all this rejection and I just feel really heavy-hearted and lost and don't know what I'm doing. But I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though it's just so much rejection, I don't think I can take anymore. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm sat on the floor, I really don't think I can pick myself up again and keep going. All those rejections. What if I get some more? I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then just tapping around the points here at the corner of the eye. Just going, oh, the rejections. And then at the side of the eye, oh, all these rejections. I don't know if I can take any more. And then under the eye, all these rejections. Then under the nose, all these rejections. And then on the chin, so many rejections. I don't think I can pick myself up off the floor. And on the collarbone, all these rejections. It's just, where do I go now? And then the top of the head. All these rejections. All these rejections. And then just feel where you are around what's happened. I think, okay, maybe they're just no's. And you could do another round of tapping if you wanted to, and just go, okay, what, so, okay, so what if I could say yes? What if there was a yes? What if I carried on? If I don't carry on, there'll be no more no's, and there won't even be a yes. What if I carried on? I might just get a yes. Wow. What about if I carried on? Under the eye, sorry, and under the nose. Just going, and then on the chin. So what if I did carry on? And then on the collarbone. What if I did just pick myself up, put out some more? And then the top of the head. What if I did just get up, put out some more, just keep going? What if I then I might just get a yes? So you then just shift that energy. That's one way of doing it. There are other things that you can do. Maybe you could do some meditation if you're someone that does meditation, in that spot there where you're on the floor with all that, those no's, meditate or put up a prayer, and ask for guidance. What else do I need to do? How many more is it going to take? And it's just, say how you're feeling. Or you could just write about it, write your feelings down, write how it is. What have you done? I've got all of these, applications in. I've had all these rejections. I'm feeling this, and this is what I'm thinking, and just keep writing, and then see where that takes you. There's a few tips that you could do, strategies. I also use Brain Gym, which are activities that help to shift the focus and perspective, and just lift you. And there's one in particular that I really like, which is also part of Touch for Health. It's called emotional stress release points. And you just hold the 2 points on the forehead, just between your top of your eyes and your hairline. You just put 2 fingers on your forehead, and you just feel where you're at with all these no's and rejection and all this rejection. And you can just feel into it, and until you find something shifts. As I said, they're called emotional stress release points. But in Brain Gym, we call them positive points because it helps you become more positive. Yeah. So there's lots of techniques that are out there that you can do. But the worst thing to do is actually push it away. Is to push it away and keep, and ignore it. You need to acknowledge how you're feeling. So that's what I would suggest for someone who's had so much rejection. And move on. And the other thing is, reach out to us, one of us here. We can always support you, because you don't have to go through things on your own. That was one of my most valuable lessons that I've learned on this journey. I don't need to do it on my own. There's help out there. There are people that can support you, can just be with you in that space. They're not trying to rescue you, just supporting you to go through and help to open up that way and that path for you, and just support you in taking whatever opens up. So do reach out. We're here if you don't know anybody else. So what would you say, Nom? So what's your suggestions?
Hi, Auntie Lisa. I'm with you, Carol Anno, on this one, because we intend to get scared of being rejected by people, and I think the thing is, you have to learn to challenge your thoughts and your beliefs that fuel this fear, because your thoughts are the ones that are assuming things, sometimes the worst scenarios, or sometimes they're right. Because we live in this world where people will reject you for no reason. So there's no need for you to go around personal attacking yourself and saying I'm not enough. And you just have to remind yourself that You are a person. Rejection, it does not define you. And know your values and your beliefs. Once you know your values and your beliefs, and you get to where you need to be. For me, that's why I said from the beginning that I pray. And when I pray, I tell myself that people are allowed to have their own opinion, but at the same time, I don't have to enter that chapter of rejection, because if somebody is entering the chapter that I don't want to be in, I have to remove myself. I have to challenge my thoughts, and I have to be okay to actually accept that rejection, because it doesn't mean that that person defines my destiny. They don't define my destiny. Jesus is the creator of this world, but he died, but then he was rejected. Some people didn't believe in him. Even in this world that we live in on earth, there are some people who don't believe in him. There are some people that believe in him. So who am I to say everybody's going to accept me, or everybody's going to accept what I say, or everybody's going to agree with what I say? Nobody agrees with everybody. So you just have to do your best and be your best and do what you can. You know why I've got questions here that which I'm working on that I need to ask you. I need to ask myself. I've been asking myself. Once you know these questions, it's like, who am I? When we apply for that job, that the perfect, that whatever we call perfect, when we apply for the job, I think when somebody applies for the job, they have these higher expectations that, you know what, I'm qualified. This is the job that I need, and it's going to happen. And then when you get disappointed, it puts you down. Instead of keep going to the next level and keep applying, going for interviews. I met this woman the other day. She went for interviews. She's a lawyer. She's not been at work for 5 years. And she said when she went for interview, she didn't have any expectations, but she went to these jobs, both, they accepted her. She had no expectations. She says, I was surprised when they both told me I was wonderful. She said, I was really, really surprised, but I had to turn somebody down because I got both jobs. But this one that got turned upside, that got turned down, they might think, oh, we are being rejected, but they don't know that every person has their needs. This woman, she looked at the situation, her life with the children, will I be able the hours, and this, what are they providing for me? And she had to evaluate every detail. And this company, is not that one is bad, but this one worked for her, so she went for that one. So if you don't know, people will be like, oh, they'll think the worst, but that's not the worst. So you have to ask the questions that you need to ask yourself. I ask these questions myself. 5 questions that I've been told I need to ask myself. Who am I while I'm on earth? So I need to be able to deal with the rejection that Carol Annie has chosen. Once I have a question, answer this question, who am I? Who am I is the question of my identity. Not of anything else. Where am I from? Is my heritage. Once I understand my heritage, I cannot go on and say I am South African if I don't know my heritage. So when you check your heritage, the country where you are, that's not where you were born. Some people is where they are from, their ancestors are from. Like your English, you might be from Northern Ireland, or you might be British, or you might be somewhere else, Scandinavian, wherever you come from. Where does your ancestors come from, Carol Ann?
I'm British as far as I know, but maybe who knows what's in the background.
Yeah, when I was on lockdown. Yeah, during lockdown, I was bored. So I was like, my dad kept saying, we are not from South Africa. We are not from South Africa. Where are we from anyway? So then I checked, and we have Nigerian, half Kenyan, and South African. My grandmother, that we thought she was actually South African, she's mixed race, she's Germany.
Right.
and it's all mixed, the blood is mixed.
Yeah.
So that one I answered the questions, and you know what? I accepted my heritage.
You mean your heritage?
Yes,
It's not in heritage.
my heritage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I accepted that. And I'm feeling good actually by accepting, because now I'm looking at my parents, how they were. My parents are really, really smart people. So I'm using that. It gives me like dealing with the rejection. It gives me that courage. When I look at my dad, I'm like, my dad is Nigerians. People say Nigerian is criminals, but Nigerians are smart. So I'm like, that means they've got this inherited, this heritage smartness in him. So I'm going to use that for my advantage. So I keep going. When I fall, I keep getting up.
Yeah.
I use that. So the other one is, why am I here? Why am I here? This is the question of purpose. Being rejected by people on earth, why am I here? The other one is, the fifth one is, where am I going? This is the question of identity. Where am I going? Like I'm here to Nkositalkshows. We are here to Nkositalkshows Monday to Friday. Where is our destiny taking us? Which is the question that I have been asking God, that where am I going? So these are the questions. And imagine if somebody comes into my life, they reject me. I'm like, okay. I said to my daughter once, I gave this advice to my children. My children, they love being on stage. So I said to them, listen, when you go on stage, you dance when you're in pain. Whatever feelings you go through, you put those feelings aside, you do your best, and you get out of that stage. Whatever the judges tell you, it does not mean that they define you. Or whatever happens when you're on stage, you carry on and you get out. My daughter, last Sunday, she was performing. She forgot her top on stage. And then she made things up on stage. She comes out, I'm like, did you enjoy your dance? She was really good. She made it all up. And then she did it before. Her tutor was like, she goes, I know I've taught you Hope dance, but that's not what I've taught her on stage. She's making things up, but she's good when she makes things up, Caroline. So she goes and makes things up. And yesterday she got a gold star for making things up.
Nice. Yeah.
It's something that I taught them from a very young age, that whatever you do in life, you design it yourself. Nobody else is going to come and tell you how good you are and how awesome you are. Only you can actually tell you, and God can actually let you know how good you are, or help you to actually improve. So I don't know if in my opinion, but my opinion is other people's opinion don't define me. If somebody rejects me, I can't be in that situation. I know some people may say, no, sir, you don't understand. It hurts when somebody rejects you. Yes, it does hurt. But at the end of the day, is the confidence. Like when I'm doing the confidence challenge, Carol, and like sometimes before, if somebody gives me a negative feedback, I'll get really very uncomfortable and not liking it. But now bring it on. I love it, because I know that people have opinions. Some opinions, they help us to grow, but some opinions, they destroy us. But then it's up to you to welcome that opinion to come to your heart, because you get to choose what comes into your heart, what doesn't. So the response. So like right now, you're waiting, you're doing this assignment, and you're waiting for your daughter. You're going to send it off, wait for your daughter to give you feedback. There is fear but you just the perfectionist. So I'm not even, I know that because you love words. So that's what is causing this fear, that isn't enough. But at the end of the day, let's say if I'm approaching bigger companies, like there was a time where when I won the award, and the guy, because they have to give you feedback, he was like, Nomsa, I actually like your social media. Your social media are not done professional, but I connect with them. He was like, when I go to a video where somebody has taken an hour or 2 days editing, it is boring. And it's boring. I find it boring. But when I go to your social media, like Instagram, it was like, I connect with you because it is personal, it's real. So that's why we give you this award. And the first time when you told me that you won the #1 matchmaking of the year, I was like, are you having a laugh? It was like, no, it's because we just like what you do. And it was like, when I had the YouTube channel, when we had the YouTube channel from the beginning, it was like, yeah, I just like everything about it because it's actually, you can connect with whatever is in there. It's a human being. And I also come across with one of the YouTuber. This guy is very, very big on YouTube. He said, forget about spending 20 hours editing videos. Those days are over. Just go on the camera, in front of the camera, make sure that you are facing the camera and forget about it. And then I came across with this woman. She's got millions and millions of followers. And what she does is she doesn't do complication, Carol Andy. She sits in front of the camera and she does her work. And that's it. She hasn't got like a professional videos or anything. Everybody relate to her. And when I was talking to Angie was like, it's the focusedness. When you focus on people, people relate, they connect with you.
That's right. If you're just being authentic and you're being yourself, there's nothing that you're hiding. Yeah. And you going back to something you were saying about somebody saying, rejection, it hurts.
Yeah.
That pain is just because you've made it mean something.
Yeah.
If you can separate out that all that happened is that somebody said no, with whatever you've made it mean about what they've said, what they've made it mean about you or the situation. If you can separate that out, the pain goes.
I used to give it a meaning, like what you're saying, Carol Anna. I used to give it a meaning. When somebody says something, I'll give the pain a meaning, and then it will go inside of me, and then it will stay there.
Yeah, and it's painful. That story that you're telling yourself, that's what hurts. It's not the rejection that hurts. I think that's what we need to be clear about. It's what you've made it mean, that story that you're telling yourself about yourself or about the situation, and you just keep going on and it hurts.
Yeah.
I get it. Rewrite the story. Just take that out and rewrite the story. Change those words. All that happened was they said no. Okay, right. Thank you. Move on.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what they've said. All right. So they said this and they said no. What was it I was asking them for? Look at what were you asking? Maybe there's a better question you could ask. Or maybe just move on. Maybe there's another opportunity. The other thing is that do you have an attachment to maybe it being this job, this person, or whatever it is, that it has to be that? And therefore, if you've got an attachment to it being, they have to say yes, they have to say yes. And they go, no. There's that emotional attachment. Again, that's what hurts. Let go of the attachment and just standing, well, what is it that you're actually after? So are you after a job? Well, what does the job look like? And you've been told no. Well, okay. So if it's not this job, then it'll be a job like it, only better, that will come through. But go for what are the qualities of that job. If it's a person, a relationship that you're wanting, and somebody's said no to you, then what is it about that person that you liked, that you wanted, and go for those qualities. This is what you're looking for in a person. And it may be it's someone that's got, is even better. So always let it go and go, okay, well, if it's not this, there'll be something better, and move beyond it. And that way you can keep moving rather than stay stuck. So that's, and I do like what you said. Whatever you do in life, design it yourself. That's the quote by Nomsa. I put Nomsa's name to it.
Design you on, Carol, and for this 30-day challenge that I'm doing, today is day 26.
Wow.
I've learned that you have to design your own life.
Mm.
No one can raise a voice for you. Only God can raise a voice for you.
Yeah.
Whether you have parents or sisters or friends, you have to design your own life. Yeah. You cannot expect anybody else to say, okay, I've been rejected by people. What if those people that have rejected you, their life is messed up like yours? But you don't know.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying design it.
That's right. And it's about having that inner strength and finding that and knowing that whatever's happening is happening for you, not to you. It's an opportunity for you to grow. And if you're not growing, then you're dying. It's as simple as that. So look at each of these as opportunities to grow from, something that you can learn. Someone was saying last night, they were talking about self-awareness. And this is somebody who she's saying, I thought I was a really good communicator. And then so I started asking questions and had a review at work and realized that actually I wasn't. And she had to take, she said, I took that on. So it's taking on self-awareness. And by getting these rejections or getting feedback, it's helping you to become more aware of perhaps how you're showing up in the world in ways that you don't realize. So we're going back to what you don't know about yourself, you're not aware of, and what you're thinking you're good at, or, it maybe isn't quite as good as you think, but it's okay because you can learn from it. It's a way of growing and learning, and there's always something to learn. We're not 100% perfect. We're not fully 100%. We know everything, can do everything. But we sure as, eggs or whatever you want to say, we can grow. We can learn more. We have the ability, whatever age you are, to learn more. It isn't a case of once you've left school, oh, that's it, it's all over, like they try and tell you. If you don't learn it at school, you never will. That is the biggest myth out there. If you haven't learned it at school, of course you've still got a chance to learn it. Of course you can, because maybe that wasn't the right time for you. There's always opportunities to learn and to grow. And you'll find what it is that you actually want to learn about, what areas and fields you want to know more about. And then all of a sudden, things that maybe you didn't pick up at school become important for you to learn. There's ways of going and learning. You can go back to college. You can look up a course online. It's out there in this day and age. That even, when my dad, when I think back, he missed a lot of schooling because he was ill. My mum missed a lot of schooling because of the war. But my dad, he worked in the local engineering works for British Rail, building carriages. And because he worked daytime, he went to college, yes, but he had to do it as night school. So there was no chance to get time off work. He worked full time, and then he did night school, as they called it then, and studied to improve himself. So it was possible then. It's even more possible now because you've got, and there was no internet then.
Yeah.
No, you've got online opportunities. You can get day release from work. I was fortunate. I got day release from work to go and get my degree, and they paid for it. I got my degree in maths. That was a great opportunity. So don't ever buy into that myth that if you haven't managed to get it done at school, you never will. If you haven't learned it then, you never will. It's not true.
No.
There's so much more we can learn and grow into. So much more. And the opportunities these days are just incredible. So incredible. And it is, you design your life, you create it. So if you say you want to do something, just find out how can you do it. And if you get setbacks, it's like, okay, how can I learn from this? I'm moving on. And it's having that attitude that will get you through, finding that resilience, that bounce back ability and determination to know that you're going to keep going. Yeah, you're muted again.
Know your words as well. When you say something, honor it. You can't say something and not act on it. I grew up with my dad, and my mom got married. My mom was living, my stepdad was a very, very rich man coming from a rich family. They were famous where we lived. So now I'm a professional musician. My granddad taught me from a very young age. Now I have to go to secondary school. So I was to my parents, I'm not sure the path that you guys want me to take. I want to take. I knew if I wanted to go to school, I will study psychology or I'll be a lawyer. But at the time, I needed to make a decision what I wanted to do. So I went and lived with my mom for a little bit. And then after that, I said to my stepdad, I need to travel. I don't have money. You keep preaching to me that I need to create my own life. I need to design my own life. So now I'm designing it. So it was like, now you're talking. What do you want to do? So I explained I need to travel. My stepdad agreed with me. I was very young, and my mom, she's like, I don't think so. I was like, yeah, if my dad says yes, that means I'm going. And then I was like, now I'm waiting for my other dad to say yes. And both of my dads agreed. And I was like, okay, mom, what do you say? He was like, okay, you can go. So when I came to the UK, I didn't have a degree. I didn't finish school. So I had to go back to school and to study. And when I went back to school, I enjoyed it because it was what I wanted to do. Not being told to go and do this. I enjoyed it. And then after I finished, I was playing football and I was like, I'm liking this study. And then after that, I was like, okay, I need to study psychology. So that's when I went and had a degree in psychology. And if somebody would have pushed me, maybe I would have studied a wrong path. But I'm glad that my parents were guiding me through. They've never pushed me. They were like, I think my mom just prayed that we hope we are making the right decision. And actually now when she speaks, she's like, Nomsa, you are a blessing to my life. Because I just followed their whatever preaching, whatever the advice, the guidance, and just created my own life. And through that process, I've made mistakes in life. Through that process, there have been setbacks, but I'm okay with it. I was okay with it, just to welcome setbacks and just pray. And with God, I can tell you, with God, you can't do anything. I've realized that the difference between me and my friends, they depend on themselves, and they end up getting into depression, and they end up getting into stress. But for me, I depend on God. Whenever things get tough, is where I surrender and I take a break and say, you know what, God, I will quote every scripture, what he says. And then in the end, I find the breakthrough. And when I'm doing this confidence challenge, I made a decision that I always manifest. People say manifest for money, manifest for this. I'm no longer manifesting for anything now. I'm manifesting for God. I'm praying for God, for his raw power to actually fall upon me so I can have the power of creativity, so I can have the power of building my confidence. I can build my confidence and from my core and do the things that sometimes I'll fear. And I find it is very, very interesting. I don't fear anymore. So there's this guy that approached me. He was like, sir, we need to write a book for your company, what you do, and things like that. So we had a meeting. We've done the book. We've done the book, the audio book. So he's going to do what he does. And he's going to put it on social media so that get more clients. And he asked me to do other things. I've got on and do them. But before, I will have 20 questions to ask him so that I can get out of it. I will have lots of doubt and doubting myself. I will talk myself out if it was before until I don't do it. Find 20 reasons not to do it. But this time, I've told myself that I need to stop making a decision before I even try. So I need to try things and then make a decision. If I fail, it's okay. But I can't just say, I'm not going to do this without trying it. But it's something that didn't happen overnight. That's what I'm trying to tell the audience, that nothing happens overnight. You have to, confidence is something that is built time and a time. When I took this challenge, I already have a confidence, but it wasn't enough. Because when somebody says something that is hateful or something negative, if I'm saying I have confidence, I need to be able to welcome whatever their opinion and not connect with it. But I was connecting with the pain all the time. So now I am aware of that. And I am actually, I've practiced it. Looked at my strength and my weaknesses. I'm working on my weaknesses. And I'm actually enjoying it. When I go to people, to places like I've missed 2 Saturdays for the choir. And the other day I saw the WhatsApp messages, if you miss 2 or 3 sessions, you won't perform for the next events. So I'm going tomorrow for practice. Other people are performing, but I said I'm just going to go because we practiced before we perform the actual performance. I'm not going to dress up like get ready to perform. I'm just going to go wearing my normal clothes and practice, and I'm going to be okay, sit and watch my friends. Because the reason why I didn't turn up to go and practice, I had friends that needed me the most, and I needed to be there. It was my friend's birthday. Anthony is the one that helped me he has his own business. He helped me to actually build a Hope Spring Eternal introduction agency before I met Days. He's the one that helped me to write a business plan. He helped me to write cash flow forecast. So when he said it was his birthday party, I was like, okay, I'm going to support my friend. Singing can wait. To me, that was important. So I'm okay with it if I'm going to sit and watch everybody. I celebrate my friends singing. So I'm okay with it. But before, I will find 20 reasons to say they are being mean, they are being this. I know the songs. So, but I said I'm okay with it. And anyone that is watching, just take Carol Annie's advice. And my advice, just tweak it your own, design it your own life based on what you think is right, not what you think Nomsa is right. For me, what is right is judging ourselves, labeling this pain, accepting the pain. It's not acceptable. Over to you, Carol Ann. It's 16 minutes past 2. Do you have any words of encouragement or any comment you would like to say before we leave?
I think I'd just like to share this quote. I love sharing quotes. It's by Kilroy J. Oldster. Facing the fear of rejection and humiliation is critical for self-growth, and no one is ever happy or content until they venture outside themselves to learn what dwells in other people's hearts. So just understand where someone else is coming from. That's a great way to look at it, and just face whatever's there and just keep moving forward, and just know that you will survive. You will survive.
Thank you so much, Carol Ann. For me, I'll just say, if you're going through rejection, and just seek support. If you are a Christian, you have to read the scriptures. It works when you read the scriptures as a Christian. It gives you comfort. Fast about it if you let it go into your heart and get deliverance, and just, you don't accept things. Accept that people are different. Every path, the way we walk, people are going to treat us different. Even people, the billionaires, look at what's his name, the billionaires, they almost spend time on television, people suing them. Everybody's doing this, and they are busy doing things to people. But all you can do is just do you. Design your life. And that's why at Nkositalkshows we say, find your own voice, lead from within. So if you are struggling to find your own voice, that's where we come in. You just get in touch with us. You can get in touch with Carol Ann, or get in touch with me, or with other coaches that you feel connected with, and then you just get some coaching. Find your own voice. I didn't have a voice myself before. I had a voice, but it wasn't this voice. It was a different one, where I thought people were judging me, or sending messages, like coming here, like here on social media. I'll be like really scared. So, but now I'm not really scared. I don't have that fear. If I have a message, I just come on. And the other day I was wearing my hoodie. Before, I'll be like, I need to look good. I need to be this. But people need to see the different me, wearing different outfits, so that they can connect with me no more. Wearing a hoodie, I love it. That's what I sometimes I go running, I wear my hoodie. Yeah, so we are here Monday to Friday. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. If you're watching us on Facebook, Nkositalkshows group, you can join the group, or you can like our page. Live with grace, everyone, and God bless.
God bless.